It's increasingly clear that corporate America is now the left's ideological enforcer. It couldn't be clearer, and it's not just happening in Silicon Valley. Until this week, Dennis Finley was an editor at the Burlington Free Press in Vermont, but the Gannett media giant unceremoniously fired him this Tuesday after he tweeted questions about a Vermont proposal to create a third gender option for driver's licenses. Why'd they do that? Well, Dennis Finley joins us tonight to answer that question. Dennis, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Tucker. Thanks for having me.
So the reason I want to talk to you is I was sincerely, I'm not just saying this rhetorically, a little bit confused by your firing, since you didn't attack transgendered people. You didn't even attack the idea of a third sex on the driver's licenses from the tweets that I saw. But you asked questions to somebody else on Twitter. I didn't understand how that was out of bounds.
Well, I believe, Tucker, it was out of bounds because I didn't agree with it. I think it's as simple as that. There's a powerful contingent of speech police out there. This is an extremely liberal state, progressive state, and I kind of galvanized them unwittingly, and it went on all through the weekend, and they didn't want to stop until they had my head on a platter, and they finally got it on Monday evening.
But you say Vermont is liberal, but there's nothing liberal about taking a man's livelihood away because you disagree with him. That's not liberal. That's something else.
Well, you'd have to ask them, but I think they think it's a feather in their cap anytime they can get rid of somebody who disagrees with them. I think that's what's going on here.
But you're a journalist and have been for a long time, and isn't a kind of key tenet of journalism that you get to say what you think is true? The truth is a defense.
Truth is a defense. You get to say what is true, but in the age we live in, our companies, a lot of media companies say that we're supposed to be objective, impartial, et cetera, et cetera. I want to ask questions. I want to raise questions and raise issues because I think there are a lot of things going on that we have to ask questions about. And putting a third gender on a driver's license is something that I thought we should ask a question about.
So someone on Twitter said something to the effect, I think this is great or courageous, and you said, why is it great and courageous? Courageous.
Correct. And I believe that if I had said, that is great and courageous, awesome, that's great, I don't think we'd be having this conversation here today, Tucker.
So the question really isn't about objectivity. They're not asking you to be objective. They're asking you to toe a very specific line.
Of course. They're asking me to toe the line. They're asking me to agree with them. And they're asking me to, they're holding my feet to the fire to, make sure that the orthodoxy wins out. And this time, they held my feet to the fire until my company said, that's enough, you're fired.
Do you see this as a trend? It's something that I've begun to notice where big companies have become the heavies for the cultural left. You think of big companies as conservative, but all of a sudden they're the ones who seem to be enforcing orthodoxy. Is that my imagination?
No, I don't think it is. I think big companies, a lot of big media companies are more or less encouraging the left. I believe that they, I don't think that they're objective. I don't believe that they want debate. I think they want us to conform to the prevailing ideology that's out there. And the prevailing ideology that's out there is leftist. And when the leftists take you on, they're big in number, and people are afraid to say anything against them. So they often win. They won a little while ago here in Vermont when they shouted Charles Murray off the stage in Middlebury when he tried to give a speech. That was on your show.
I know.
So, yeah, it's hard to disagree with them.
Well, or they take your job away. And here we are in the middle of the winter, and you're in Vermont, and you got no job. So our prayers are with you, Dennis. Good luck. I hope you find something.
Thank you.
Thanks.